Hello, everybody. This is Martha Hines with Living the One Light. So in this video, I want to talk about what I am feeling as the metamorphosis of 2023, or the potential for this energetic, very strong potential for a collective experience, personal experience for each of us of metamorphosis. So there are many layers to this, and I want to dive into a bit of it. On an astrological level, one of the huge transits coming in 2023 is that Pluto will be squaring the nodes effectively for pretty much the whole year, although the exact Pluto square of the nodes will be for almost an entire week in July 22nd-ish, that week. Pluto squares the nodes, it's not that rare for Pluto to square the nodes, but it's also it is still a big deal. I feel it just energetically really strongly. And not only is Pluto going to be squaring the nodes, but it's going to square the nodes exactly as the nodes switch from, they've been in Taurus and Scorpio, and they're going to switch into Aries and Libra. So there are many layers to all of that, and I just recorded a video today with Verena Burrell, which will also be on my YouTube channel, where we go more into depth into the astrology and all the different things happening in 2023 on various levels. So in this video, I really want to dive in more deeply to this one theme, the metamorphosis theme, because there's many layers to it, and I want to also then transition into what I'm being shown, what I'm being called to offer and to do in 2023, so that those of you who feel called to join me for any of it, or this is something along your path that's really key or important in any way, that you'll have a sense of where my energy is going, where I'm being called, and maybe your soul will have a similar calling. So yeah. So in terms of this theme of metamorphosis, on a really big level, an experience that I have been having personally, and that I know that many people have been having, is, for me, this has been happening over the past maybe 10-ish years on a very conscious level. But it's an ongoing experience, right? And the gist of it is that many of us are waking up to all of who we are as beings of the divine, beings of our souls, our spirit, beings of this earth, beings of our heart, beings of our minds. And not only do we know that on an intellectual level, but for many of us, it's like a remembering of the actual reality of it. And for each of us, that's different. It means different things, and the experience is, variable for each of us. So part of my own journey, which I want to just give as a little bit of background on the context of why this metamorphosis theme is so key and so important, and why it calls to me so much, is that in 2018, I was working as a supervisor at child welfare services where I lived. And so supervising people doing essentially child abuse investigation and trying to prevent taking kids from families, that kind of thing. So it's very much in the clinical social worky world. And I had an experience in April of 2018 where a group of spirits came to me, which had never happened before, and told me to start channeling, which I had never done before. I had had plenty of very powerful spiritual experiences through my whole life, but I wasn't open about it, and I had never had it happen so directly in this way. So long story, but essentially what ended up happening is these spirits told me I needed to start channeling, and a lot of very uncanny, unexplainable coincidences happened that made it really clear to me that this was real. So I'm happy to tell people that whole story, but I don't want to take too much time in this video. So I did start channeling, and again, I had never done that before, but this was in April of 2018, and by September of 2018, those spirits told me I needed to start channeling my first book. And the first book is called Living the One Light. So Living the One Light is the first book in a series of what they told me is going to be a series of 8 books. So this is Living the One Light. And so I published Living the One Light in November 2018. And what Living the One Light, the purpose of Living the One Light is, again, it's channeled. It's not me writing this. It's not, in a sense, it wasn't really my decision to channel it in any way. I chose to listen. I chose to follow what I was asked to do. But it was definitely not me who wrote it. So the message of Living the One Light is, it's these spirits of light, letting those of us who are having these awakening experiences know that we're supported, and that there is help to nurture us, support us as we are, in a sense, going through a metamorphosis of ourselves. So coming from being the caterpillar, going into the chrysalis, and then, the caterpillar dissolves into the goop. And then from those imaginal cells of the goop forms that butterfly or the moth or whatever that then emerges from the chrysalis. And in a sense, that butterfly is already there as the caterpillar, right? There's, in a certain way, not a difference. But this butterfly then can be the next manifestation of the divine, in a sense, that is really needed to emerge on the planet in that moment. So for a lot of us, what is emerging, or what that caterpillar is instinctively knowing needs to happen next, is that in this world, we typically have been living in a very concrete, 3-dimensional, 5 senses way of being, which is great and has many benefits and all kinds of things. And then suddenly, again, for many of us, even those of us who are very educated and entrenched in that 3-dimensional world and succeeding in that 3-dimensional world, which, I'm speaking for myself here, other parts of us start to wake up and start to knock louder and louder and louder, and boom, there they are, which is, what happened for me. So there are so many other parts of ourselves that just need to come online, and they're going to do it, because that's why we're here. We came not just to, many of us, not everybody on the planet, obviously, but many of us, for better or for worse, did not come to live a life of putting the peg in the hole and going home and watching TV and waking up and doing the next thing again. I mean, and again, there's nothing wrong with that way of being. It's just not true for many of us. Like in my own life, part of me feels like maybe life would be easier, or would have been easier in some way, if I could just be the social worker, take care of my kids, come home, go back and be the social worker the next day, enjoy life, period, the end. And I know that my spirit would be suffocating. That is not what I'm here to do. That is what I was meant to do for a bazillion years. And now at age 45, that's not what I'm meant to be doing. So I left my job. I left social work. 3 years ago now, and emerged as that butterfly, which is not always easy. It's actually often scary. And again, each of us has our own journey with it. But living the one light, again, back to living the one light, is a guide, is a set of wisdom around normalizing what that awakening process can be like for many of us, and giving support and saying, hey, yes, you are here to wake up. And yes, there's some kind of typical bumps in the road, and here are what they are. And these may or may not occur for you, but if they do, here's some advice. And here's just a sense that we're here holding you, and that you chose to live this awakening life in this lifetime. And there's a purpose to it. So in this time, as we're entering 2023, especially as we're moving toward 2024, 2025, and the years to come, my human brain questions this, finds it a little strange. My, highly academic, sciencey mind, mathy mind says, what are you talking about? But what the spirit world tells me, what these books that I've channeled all say, and what I keep getting told in my prayers, is that, yeah, we are here in this lifetime to awaken fully, completely, to totally remember ourselves literally as source and the earth and our souls all at the same time. And we are here to live as those soul butterflies that maybe we have or haven't lived in previous lifetimes on this planet. We're in a really unusual moment, which is what they say, right? So Martha, me, the human me, I don't know really why we're all waking up like this, other than I know that we are. I know that we are. I know that we are. I know that I hear the same story from many, many, many people. And I know that we need support as we're doing it. I needed support. And my entire calling, my whole purpose to everything I do is literally, well, number one, to be a mom. I have 2 kids. That's my number one priority. But in terms of my work on the planet, I am here as a support, literally. That is the directive I'm given by the spirit world. I am here as a support to people who are waking up to this in full, complete butterfly soul being that we each are on the ultimate level. So the energetics and the astrology of, all of these years right now are very strongly about breaking down old notions of our structures and our ideas of who we are and our identities and all kinds of things. That's been going on for a while, but 2023 in particular really emphasizes this metamorphosis theme. And so part of what I'm feeling called to do is to provide a really clear structure, a really clear container, very safe and grounded, trauma-informed container that specifically is for supporting those of you who are in this awakening process at any stage of it. Just barely noticing that that's a thing, all the way to here I am the butterfly, I'm totally flying and soaring, great. So the whole gamut, the whole spectrum, because really the reality is we move, in and out of the chrysalis over and over again, or new crystal, we reform new chrysalises. Is it chrysali or chrysalises? Probably chrysali. I don't know. You can tell me. But yeah, so life isn't linear. It's, you know, circular, or really spherical, I would say, spirals. And this whole experience of remembering ourselves literally as source, as the divine, as earth, as the light has many permutations and ins and outs and ups and downs and hills and valleys, ebbs and flows, right? So I'm here as a grounded, capable friend, guide, just a holder of space, is really a witness, a midwife. That's really, actually, that's what they say. That's the best word for it. I'm here to be a midwife, helping us all to rebirth ourselves as who we actually are, which is our soul selves as source, as earth, all of that. Okay, so in terms of that clear structure and what the spirit world shows me, is that over the past, few years, and especially in the past few months, I've been experimenting with lots of different offerings and talking to a lot of you and hearing feedback. And so what is getting clarified for me and is gelling, and what the spirit world is saying, yes, this is what we've been telling you over and over again, but I needed to see it. Like, I needed to see it in play, right? Through talking with you guys and hearing stories and hearing what works and doesn't work. So what they have been saying for a while, and now I get it, is they said this morning, for example, in my prayers, they said, everything begins with the healing of the nervous system. So I've been talking a lot in the past, especially weeks, but months, about the need for us all to be supported to allow our nervous systems to fully relax. And so every month I've been holding these deep peace and healing circles, and I'm going to continue to hold those. Typically, well, my plan is to hold them the first Friday of every month, at 10 a.m. Pacific time. That's what I've been doing, and that's my plan to continue doing that. And they're very clear that the deep peace and healing circles need to be first in the month, because the purpose of those deep peace and healing circles is to support the healing of our nervous systems and to support us to come from the sympathetic fight or flight mode, sympathetic nervous system fight or flight mode, to relax completely and totally into our parasympathetic nervous system, where we are able to go into a healing state, and literally our nervous systems can rewire to feel soothed and to, not be expecting danger. So when we're in that sympathetic nervous system too much, we expect danger, and we're just wired for it. Like, we're little things, if you've ever had an acutely traumatic experience, which most humans at this point have had at least some little thing, you can get really, really jumpy afterward, right? That's because our nervous system is on alert and wired in that way. So our synapses are overfiring. So part of the purpose of those deep peace and healing circles is to just literally give our nervous systems an opportunity to come out of that fight or flight mode and truly, truly, truly relax. And also, probably toward March, I'm going to be offering something jointly with a group. I'm gathering together a group of amazing other women who each are experts in various modalities, some therapists, naturopath, somebody who does essential oil therapies, a yoga therapy instructor, a whole range of people with different expertise who are going to come together and do a group offering around having a toolbox for addressing anxiety and on a consistent basis over time, helping us to rewire and heal our nervous systems. I'm really excited about that because I don't see that anywhere else. Could be out there. I don't know. If it is, send it to me. I'd be curious to look at it. So yeah, and I've chosen to partner with people who I find have very high integrity, and they all have at least 20 years of experience in what they do. If not more, many have 30 years of experience. So that's coming up, and I'm really excited about that. So yeah, so that's what the spirit world says, is everything must start with healing of the nervous system. Then this is a new thing that I'm going to be adding in starting in January. They are really clear that community and having time for sharing and being witnessed is super key. So we start with, this soothing, healing time for our nervous systems. And then part of that is feeling held in community. So in the second week of every month, I'm going to be holding something I haven't held before, because this idea just came to me last week, which is I'm calling them the divine cocoon, witness and sharing circles. So like the name says, it's really going to be a small container. I'm going to cap the number of people who can come to each one, like 6 to 8 people. And if more than that number wants to join these circles, then I'll just split it into 2, because they need to be really small and intimate so that there's time to be heard and to be witnessed and to listen to others who are also, in this experience of remembering and awakening to all of who we are. So that's going to be the second week of each month. And then the third week of each month is going to be the soul wisdom gatherings, which I have been holding for the last several months. And those are, like they have been, going to be certainly about community, but not so much about sharing, and the size isn't limited. So it's more about definitely gathering in community, but getting a transmission of some message and tool, like a spiritual tool that is wanting to come through, often very relevant to whatever the astrology is doing in that moment. But each month it's whatever the spirit world is calling to come through me. So that the divine cocoon sharing and witness circle isn't so much about me conveying anything. It's really, I will start with a grounding container, sort of meditation centering moment, where I probably will channel something, but just for a few minutes, not very long. It's really mostly about you having time to share and to be witnessed in, whatever struggles you're having, or whatever is coming through you as a channel. Because I think most of you who are drawn to the work I do are naturally channels. We all are, what the spirit world says is divine conductor. Like, we're conductors of energy, we're conductors of light, conduits. And so as we each have a different way of being that conduit, but for many of you that I know personally, I think you are channels, right? And for some of you it comes through in your art, for some of you it comes through in dance or movement or poetry or song or speaking, or all of the above. Everybody is just a unique divine tuning fork. That's another way they put it. Yeah, so these sharing circles are going to be really about you letting whatever needs to come through you to come through, and have space for that in community. And then the soul wisdom gathering is going to be what it's been, where it's more me channeling something that the spirit world wants to come through as like a grounded tool, a spiritual tool. So those 3 events will happen every month. And I'm sort of tweaking my membership a tiny bit to really support people who want to be supported in this divine metamorphosis of your own, to be able to attend all 3 of those gatherings. They'll be not the sharing circle. I don't think I'm going to be recording, but unless people want me to, but certainly the deep peace and healing circles, I definitely will record, and the soul wisdom gatherings, I will continue to record. So you can be there live or not be there live. It's up to you. And then in addition, so there's one membership option that's just those 3. Well, actually, what I'm offering is a membership option that just includes the soul wisdom gatherings, like I've been doing. That's $22 a month. Then an option that's $44 a month. That's the deep peace and healing circle. It's a membership that's really focused on helping you to heal your nervous system. So I'm going to have various resources very specifically targeting that for the second tier of the membership, which is $44 a month. And I keep feeling like that one I'm going to be offering enough that I feel like I keep wondering if it needs to be a higher price, and the spirit world keeps saying no, it needs to stay at $44 a month, really, to keep it accessible to as many people as possible. So that's going to be still $44. And then there's going to be a third option where you can have all 3 of those gatherings, as well as, if you want to, and then other membership options, 3 other ones where you can have one-on-one time with me. So, and some of you already have that, and we'll keep doing whatever is right for you in that way. Yeah, so I think that is the gist of what I wanted to share. I'll just emphasize also that this relates very much to the work that I did as a social worker, and I talked about this in the video that I did with Marina earlier today. So you're welcome to see a little more on that there. But I worked a lot as a therapist with babies and children and teenagers, people of all ages involved with the foster care system. And so what I would do very often, probably the biggest thing I did in that job, was support foster parents to navigate caring for a baby or a child who's been, incredibly traumatized. First of all, taken from their biological family, theoretically, and witnessing or experiencing whatever led to that removal from the home, right? So lots and lots of trauma. And what I keep getting shown in terms of this metamorphosis theme is that there's this need in our world, which is really similar to those foster kids and, kids in the foster care system. We all are surrounded by trauma. And the biggest thing that I would tell parents, or foster parents, and whoever was caring for these kids who have been through so much trauma, is that the main thing they need is literally to be held. Well, not necessarily physically to be held, because some of the older kids, that would not be what they need in the moment, but certainly the babies and the toddlers, and eventually the children, if that, in their right timing. But a lot of kids, and even babies, it was like they would need to regress. They would need to come back into the womb, in a sense, And once they would get to the point of feeling, in fact, this is actually more for the older kids, once they would get to a stage of feeling safe and comfortable in the home, a lot of foster parents would tell me, the 7-year-old is suddenly talking in baby talk. What's wrong? And I would say, actually, no, that is great. That is a good thing. Just go with it. Because what that child is doing is basically going backward into developmentally. What they needed to do was to retreat back into the womb, start over, allow their nervous system to start over in a safe and held container, in a safe and held way, so that, you know, when people, when animals of any kind are constantly surrounded by traumatic things, like I said, our nervous system, our neurobiology wires to expect the trauma. And that's true for anybody, but it's actually the most true the younger you are. So in utero, just random fact, but in utero, the baby's brain, the baby's nervous system is the most flexible, the most highly impacted. So there's just this need to help that child, help the baby, help even talk about adults, us, all of us, to rewire the nervous system, to have a chance to feel safe, to feel held. And in a sense, that requires, in some way or another, feeling like we're going back into a womb. And that doesn't need to be literal, especially for those of us who are adults, but there is this really strong need to just kind of start over, like start from the beginning. Yeah, so that is a really big imperative of what the spirit world is telling me to be doing, and my intention in a lot of what I'm holding in this year moving forward. And it's a huge, huge, huge part when I feel into this metamorphosis experience. You know, we tend to be on a go, go, go way of being. And a linear way of being. So if we think, okay, I'm the caterpillar, I'm supposed to become that butterfly, why don't I just do it? You know, why don't I just, I don't know, jump and fly or something? And that's not how it works. We know that, like, we know that's not how nature works. It's not how our souls work. It's not how our bodies work. It's not how anything actually works. But we are trained, we are educated typically to want to do a trajectory that is linear and upward moving. And yet this metamorphosis process, that caterpillar, you know, creating that chrysalis and then going into the chrysalis and then dissolving, that is not linear. That is not upward motion. That is not jumping and flying. That is going in and dissolving into nothingness, in a sense. It's the opposite of what we've been taught is the way to move forward. It's actually to move backward. So it's like the need to go back into the womb and to start over, right? Yeah. So all these parallels that are only even just dawning on me as I'm talking and as I'm feeling into what I'm called to do. I've had many moments in the past weeks and months where I've gotten very clear messages about what it is I'm supposed to be doing and offering, and I do it because I trust this this guidance, and at the same time I don't get it until I get it. So I'm starting to get it. I'm starting to get some of the why behind all of this, which is what I've just explained to you. So you now know what I know. Yeah. So I think that is what very important. So I am also on December 14th, holding a workshop that is called The Divine Metamorphosis of 2023. And you, the Divine Metamorphosis of 2023 and you. So at that workshop, which you can be at live or have the recording, I will be talking about the astrology of 2023, but the real focus is going to be on supporting you to go deep inside, go deep into your own soul and find and feel what is alive for you on a soul level. You know, we are all going to be in the soup of this energetic that's really supporting this metamorphosis process. And there's so many ways that could play out, that could, you know, I can think of infinite scenarios. There are infinite scenarios of what that energetic could be. And the only person or being who will know what that is for you is you, or maybe source, which is you. I can't know. I can guess, but you will be the only one who will know it, feel it, get it in your gut, you know, in your body, in your heart, in your soul, in your spirit, in your mind. And so the purpose of this, the container of this workshop on December 14th, is really to hold space for you to feel into, drop into, and get it, whatever it is, in whatever way you are meant to get it. Like, where are you in this metamorphosis process? What area or areas of your life are really that caterpillar about to enter the chrysalis? Or maybe you're already in the chrysalis, or maybe you've been in the chrysalis and you're starting to spread your wings, or maybe you're in the mid-flight already as a butterfly. And I don't know. I don't know, you know, each journey is so amazing, and I love hearing about each and every one. So we'll drop in and get that really deep connection with your soul on what is alive for you. We'll have time to share about that, and then I'll share about the astrology of 2023 and all the main themes I see in that. And then I'm going to be sharing about how you can apply the astrology of 2023 to your own chart. And so if you're wanting direct one-on-one knowledge of what the astrology of 2023 looks like for you, if you want a really in-depth version, I'm also doing some written reports, personalized, as well as one-on-one sessions. And I can do a few more in December and a few more in January. So they take time, so I can't do a ton of them, but I can do a few more. So if that calls to you, definitely you can sign up for that at the link, which I'll put with this video. But in the workshop itself, I've devised like a chart, and I'll show you how you can look at your own chart and figure out, you know, where certain transits are going to particularly highlight in your area and what areas of your life they may particularly light up. Yeah, and then the last thing is, so there's the workshop, there's these one-on-one look ahead at 2023 sessions or written reports or both. And then there's the Divine Metamorphosis membership, which you can join for 2023. You don't have to do the whole year. You can do, you know, a month at a time or a few months at a time, whatever feels right for you. And if you have any questions about your own situation, your own journey, if you want to discuss what might be the best fit for you, I'm happy to have, you know, 20 to 30 minute conversation to help you figure out what would be right for you or not right for you. And certainly no pressure to do anything, because this needs to be purely, precisely in alignment for you, whatever it is that you choose to do or not do with me or with anybody. Yeah, I'm really mean that, because I need to feel purely in alignment with what I choose to do too, with my own life and, who I choose to work with or not work with. And yeah, I just 1000% support you to do the same thing. So be in touch anytime. livingtheonelight.com. livingtheonelight.com is my website, and livingtheonelight@gmail.com is my email. And I'll put the link here to sign up for the workshop, the one-on-one sessions, the membership, etc. And very good. I'll talk with you soon. Thank you.